Hello guys. So in this session, we are going to learn how to install Prometheus and Grafana on Ubuntu 24.04 LTS. So let's start. So first of all, we need to understand what is Prometheus, then what is Grafana, and what is Node Exporter. Okay, so first of all, let's understand what is Prometheus. So Prometheus is an open source Linux server monitoring tool mainly used for metrics monitoring, event monitoring, and alert management, etc. And Prometheus had changed the way of monitoring system, and that is why it has become the top level project of cloud native computing. Okay, foundation. Then Prometheus uses a powerful query language that is called PromQL. And in Prometheus, tabs are on the handles hundreds of services and microservices. And Prometheus used multiple modes used for graphing and dashboarding support. Then after that, we need to understand what is Grafana. So Grafana is a free and open source visualization tool mostly used with Prometheus to which monitor metrics. And Grafana provides various dashboard charts, graphs, alerts for the particular data source. Grafana allows us to query, visualize, explore metrics, and set alerts for the data source, which can be a system, server, nodes, cluster, etc. And we can also create our own dynamic dashboard for visualization and monitoring. And we can save the dashboard and can even share with our team members, which is one of the main advantage of Grafana. After that, the next is what is node exporter. So the node exporter is one of the Prometheus exporter which is used to expose servers to system OS metrics. And with the help of node exporter, we can expose various sources of the system like RAM, CPU utilization, memory utilization, and disk space. Node Exporter runs as a system service which gathers the metrics of your system, and that gathered matrix is displayed with the help of Grafana visualization tool. So that's the Prometheus, Grafana, and Node Exporter. Okay. Now let's install Prometheus and Grafana on Ubuntu 24.04 LTS. So let's start. So before installing, we need to understand what is prerequisite. So first of all, we need a Ubuntu with 24.04 version, that means instance. Then we need a root account with sudo privilege. Then we need a Prometheus system user group. Then sufficient storage on system and good internet connectivity. And here we need a 3 port. First 9090 for Prometheus, 3000 for Grafana, and 9100 for Node Exporter. So you need to open this 3 port on your security group. Okay. So let's start to install Grafana. So first of all, let's update our system package. So as you can see here, I have launched my instance with the name Prometheus. And as you can see, I have successfully connected to my terminal. And you can see, welcome to Ubuntu 24.04 LTS. Okay. So first of all, I'm going to update my system package. As you can see, sudo apt update. Okay. Now let's clear the screen. Now, after that, let's check the first steps. The first step is creating Prometheus system user and directory. So here, create a system user for Prometheus using below commands. So let's run this command. Okay. Now after that, create the directory in which we will be storing our configuration file and libraries. So that's why in etc directory, we need to create one more directory with the name Prometheus. So the command is sudo mkdir make directory and the path and your directory name. Okay, yes, it's also done. Now the third step is set the ownership to this particular directory that we have created, this directory. So we need to set the ownership. So I'm going to give some permission to set ownership. Okay, it's also done. Now It's done. Now it's time to move second step. Now the second step is download Prometheus binary file. Now we will download the latest version of Prometheus. So we can copy the download link as per operating system from Prometheus download page. Okay. So you can go to the Prometheus official site, as you can see. And as you can see a Prometheus, and you can see the tar.gz file right here. It's for Linux. Choose your operating system, Linux. This is for Windows. This is for Linux. Choose your operating system. Click on right click and copy link address. And here, let's install using wget command. Right. Now I'm going to copy this command. If you want to install the latest version, you can download from first wget command using wget command. As you can see, it's downloading. Now if I run the ls command, as you can see the link. Now we need to extract this file. So I'm going to extract this file using tar xvf command and your file name. So it's done. If I run the ls command, as you can see in blue color, it's successfully extracted. Okay. Now after that, move the configuration file and set the ownership to the Prometheus user. So that's why we need to inside this extracted file of Prometheus. And now here we need to move this Prometheus file into this location. Then we need to move also this prom.yaml file, that means configuration file. And now we need to give some permissions. Okay. Now it's done. Now the next is move the binaries and set the owner. Okay, so we need to move these binaries into this particular location and give some permission. Okay, it's done. So now it's time to move third step. So the third step is Prometheus configuration file. So we have already copied this Prometheus configuration file in this location and verify it's present and should look like in below modification. Okay. So if you want to check the Prometheus configuration file, then you can check. As you can see, this is the configuration file. But as of now, there is no any changes. So you need to just check it. Okay. First globe, then scrap interval, evaluation interval, alerting. There is, as of now, there is no any alert set rule. So that's why here keep as it is, then rules file, keep as it is. Now scrap config. Now, as you can see here, as of now, we have only one job with the name Prometheus and the port name is 9090. Okay, so that's the configuration file. As of now, there is no any changes, keep as it is. Now, let's move to the fourth step, creating Prometheus systemd units file. So let's create, so the command is sudo nano and we are going to create this file into this location, Prometheus service file. So let's create. And in this file, let's paste this. Let's save the file and exit. Now, after that, let's reload the system using following commands. Okay. Now let's start enable and let's check the status of our Prometheus. After that, let's enable the Prometheus. Then if you want to check the status of our Prometheus, then you can check the status also. As you can see, it's active running. That means we have successfully installed Prometheus on Ubuntu 24.04 LTS. Now, the fifth step is now Prometheus installation and configuration is set up. It is ready to use Then we can access its services via web interface. Also check whether port 9090 in European firewall. Okay. Then let's access. Firstly, you need to copy your instance IP, then hit on browser, and as you know, the port number of Prometheus is 9090. As you can see, this is the Prometheus dashboard. Okay. If I go to the status and go to the target, so as you can see, as of now, we have only one job with the name Prometheus. State is up, label, scrap, last scrap, scrap duration, and so on. Okay. Here, if you okay, so we have successfully installed Prometheus. Right now, it's time to download Node Exporter. So how to download? So first of all, you go to the official release page of Prometheus Node Exporter, and as you can see here, this is the official site of Prometheus, and as you can see here, Node Exporter. Okay, so in Node Exporter, as you can see, Node Exporter are available only for two operating systems, Linux and this. Node Exporter it's not for Windows operating system. Okay, keep in mind. Remember this thing. Node Exporter is not for Windows operating system. It is only for Linux operating system. For Windows operating system, there is another exporter named called WMI Exporter. Okay, so Node Exporter is only used for Linux operating system. So copy the link address and same as it is. Okay. Now, first of all, you need to go to the inside this TMP folder, and in this folder, let's download the Node Exporter using wget command. And after that, let's extract the files. If I run the ls command, as you can see, the Node Exporter. So we need to extract this file. Now, if I run the ls command, as you can see, our Node Exporter extracted a file. Okay, let's clear the screen first. Now, after that, move the binary file of Node Exporter to this particular location. So let's move. Okay. Then create a Node Exporter user to run the Node Exporter service. Okay. So we need to give some permission user add. Then, okay, it's done. Okay, so we have successfully download Node Exporter and we have successfully extract our Node Exporter files. Okay, it's done. Now the next step is we need to create Node Exporter systemd file. Okay, same as it is that we have created Prometheus. So same in this location, we need to create this file, and in this file, we need to add this below lines. So let's save the file and exit. And after that, here we need to reload the system. Then we need to start, enable, and if you want to check the status of a Node Exporter, then you can check. Let's start Node Exporter, and after that, let's enable Node Exporter. And now, if you want to check the status of Node Exporter, then you can check the status also. It's active, running. That means we have successfully installed Node Exporter on Ubuntu 24.04 LTS. Okay, so it's done. Now the next step is we need to configure the Node Exporter as Prometheus target. That means we need to change as Prometheus configuration file. So in this Prometheus configuration file, we need to add one more job with the name Prometheus. Sorry, with the name Node Exporter. So let's open the Prometheus configuration file. And as you can see, as of now, there is only one job with the name Prometheus. Now let's add another job with the name Node Exporter. And in this configuration file, when we add job and when we add any data, you need to careful about indentation. Okay, if you add any extra space, they give us error. So let's check. Okay, Node Exporter, swap interval time, and here I'm going to add my instance IP because my node exporter is in my instance. Okay, let's save the file and exit. Okay, firstly, let's check here. There is only one job right now. Okay, let's wait. Now, after changes any configuration to file, we need to restart the service. So I'm going to run this command to restart my Prometheus. Okay, now let's go to the browser, refresh the page and go to the target. And let's check for the Prometheus. It's running, it's unknown why. Wait for a few seconds. Okay, now as you can see, both are running. As you can see, the state is up, state is up. Okay, label and scrap interval and duration and so on. Right, same as it. To move the next step, it's time to install Grafana on Ubuntu 24.04 LTS. Okay. So now let's install Grafana for wonderful dashboard and data visualization for monitoring system, servers, service, and etc. So we can install Grafana on Ubuntu either by downloading .deb package from Grafana download page or using apt, which is more easier. So add the Grafana GPG keys in Ubuntu and using duplicate. Okay, so let's add Grafana GPG keys using duplicate command. Okay. Then next add Grafana repositories to your apt sources. So let's add, enter to continue. Okay. Then let's update your system to refresh your apt cache. And now it's time to install Grafana. So the command is sudo apt install Grafana. So yes, I want to install. Okay. Now let's start our Grafana using command sudo systemctl enable Grafana server. Now let's check the status of Grafana. It's done. As you can see, it's active running. That means we have successfully installed Grafana also. Okay, it's done. So now let's access the Grafana in browser. So as you know how to access, copy your instance IP, hit on browser. And as you know, the default port number of Grafana is 3000. So welcome to Grafana. So we need to log into Grafana. So the username and password of Grafana is default username or password is admin and password also admin. As you can see, click on login. So you need to reset the password for security reason. Update your password. Okay. So as of now, I'm going to skip it, but you need to update your password. So welcome to Grafana. So that's the Grafana dashboard. Okay, it's done. We have successfully installed Grafana. Okay. Now the next step is here. As you can see, we need to configure Prometheus as Grafana data source. So how to configure? So as you can see here, data source, add your first data source. So click on it, select Prometheus. And name is Prometheus, and here you need to enter Prometheus URL. So here is my Prometheus. I am going to enter the URL of Prometheus from here to here. That means instance IP colon and the port number is 9090. Okay. Now keep as it is. Click on save and test. As you can see, successfully quit. Okay. Now go to the home page. Okay. So we have successfully configured Prometheus as Grafana data source. Now the next step is creating Grafana dashboard to monitor Linux server. So how to create? So let's create. So first of all, let's build a dashboard in Grafana. So then it will able to reflect the metrics of the Linux system. And so we will use the dashboard number ID 14513 to import grafana.com. Let's come to Grafana homepage and you can see this plus icon and click on this and select import. Okay, so let's create Grafana dashboard to monitor Linux server. So as you can see here, the plus icon, click on it and click on import dashboard. And here you need to enter a grafana.com dashboard URL or ID. So the ID is 14513. Click on load and check for once Linux exporter, yes. Then graph dashboard. Then select data sources, default Prometheus and click on import. And as you can see the Grafana, and this is the dashboard of monitor Linux server. As you can see, the CPU, system load, RAM, swap, root, and so on. You can see, right? You can see the details. You can see in graph, right? Last 5 minutes, you can see the 7 GB, 2 GB, uptime 4.2 minutes. Okay, and you can see the graph. Okay, it takes few minutes to visualize the graph. So you can see the data here also, right? Memory, then system, then hardware, right? So on. So that's the dashboard of Linux system, Linux exporter. Okay. So we are successfully creating Grafana dashboard to monitor Linux server. So it's done. So in this session, we have learned how to install Prometheus and Grafana on Ubuntu 24.04 LTS. So first of all, we have installed Prometheus, then we have installed Node Exporter. After that, we have installed Grafana on Ubuntu 24.04 LTS. And then in last, we have successfully created this dashboard to monitor Linux server in this Grafana. Okay, so it's done. So in this session, we have learned how to install Prometheus and Grafana on Ubuntu 24.04 LTS. So thank you for watching and I hope you understand.